So, I guess. So our next unit that we're going to be looking at is going to be called units of measure. And for units of measure, it means like measuring distance or measuring weight, um, measuring volume in a sense. Today we're going to be looking at the customary. And the customary is kind of what we use in this country. We're going to be looking at both metric, which is used mostly around the world, and then the customary that's going to be used in America. So you kind of have to learn both. Customary would be inches, yards, feet, miles, stuff like that, while the metric deals with centimeters and meters, decimeters, all that good stuff. So this is kind of what you have to know. And this is kind of the basis of what we're doing today. And you guys all got one of these. This is a meter stick. Now the difference between a meter stick and a yardstick is a meter stick is going to be a little longer. A yardstick would actually end at a 36 point, but a meter stick goes for 4 extra inches. So for this, we're just going to use the inches, feet, and yards part. And I have a little diagram up here that kind of shows that. So this whole thing is 1 yard. If you broke that down into feet, it'd be 3 feet. So there are 3 feet in every yard. If you break it down even further, there's 12 inches in every foot. That means there's 36 inches in the 1 yard. And 3 feet in the yard, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. So what we have on the bottom are a bunch of questions I'm going to kind of go over as I'm going through those. If you can do the work with them, besides pause the video if you need to. The other thing that you have to know, the other thing I didn't draw on the board is how many feet are in a mile. And how many feet are in a mile is 5,280 feet. It also tells you 1,760 yards in a mile. You don't necessarily have to memorize that too much, but you should definitely do 5,280 feet. You kind of have to know that one. Like I said, we're going to be looking at some of these. We're going to be working on those together. And then once you're done, if you could go on to the next page, the R13-1, that'd be super awesome. So our first question is, how many inches are there in 5 feet? So we know in 1 foot, there's 12 inches. So if we had 5 of these feet, there's a couple different ways you could do it. You do 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12, or you could just do 12 times 5. If there's 12 inches in every foot, and we want to figure out how many inches there are in 5 feet, you can do 12 times 5. If you want a plus, you can certainly do that as well. Within that, you could do that and add 12 5 times, or 10 5 times plus 2 5 times. Either way, we'll do the multiplication. So 5 times 2 is 10. Pop the 1 up top. 5 times 1 plus 1 is 60. We're going to put a label in there. We're going to say that in 5 feet, there's 60 inches. Now we have to figure out how many feet would there be in 3 miles. So again, we're going to look up here, and that's going to be kind of our baseline. That's going to help us out. We know that there's 5,280 feet in every mile. So much like the previous question, you can multiply or you could add here. You could add the 5,280 3 times, or you can multiply by 3. I prefer the multiplication. I feel like that's a little quicker. Again, if there's this many feet in every mile, we multiply by 3 because there's 3 miles. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 8 is 24. Put our 4 down here, our 2 up top. 3 times 2 plus 2 is going to be 8. And then 3 times 5 is 15. We're going to put our comma in there, 1, 2, 3 over. We have 15,840 feet. Our next one, we're actually going to be working a little backwards. Now we have this large number of inches, and we want to put them in 2 feet. That means we're kind of parting them out. We're putting them in different parts. And we know that in every part, there's going to be 12 of them, because there's 12 inches in every foot. So whenever we part something out, whenever we share it, we know we're going to be dividing. So we actually take this 108, and we're going to divide it by 12. And maybe you already can do that in your head. That's awesome if you can. Because that's a 12 fact. So 12 goes into, can't do that. 12 can't go into 10. So now we have to think to ourselves, how many times does 12 actually go into 108? I'm going to guess 9 because I'm going to. 9 times 2 is 8. 9 times 1 plus 1 is 108. So it's exactly 9 feet. Again, we took that 108 and we want to put it into groups of 12 because there's 12 inches in every foot. So we had our 108 and we divide by 12. Number 4 is going to be very similar because we're taking these large amount of inches and we're putting them into yards. And if you remember up here, we know that there's 36 inches in every yard. So you have to ask yourself, how many 36s go into 72? And maybe you can think to yourself, 36 plus 36 plus equals 72, or maybe you think 72 divided by 36 equals the number. Let's just kind of look at this. So if we have 1 yard, that's 36 inches. If we add another yard, that's another 36 inches. 6 plus 6 is 2. 3 plus 3 plus 1 is 7. That means there's 72 inches in 2 yards. Therefore, when we look at this, 72 inches, it is in 2 yards. If it's at 108 inches, it'd be 3 yards. And you keep on going from there. We can keep on adding 36s to see how many yards are in X amount of inches. Number 5 is going to be a little different. Number 5, we have 2 feet and 3 inches equals how many yards? So you actually have to kind of break it down a little bit. First, you have to ask yourself, how many inches are there in 2 feet? Again, we know there's 12 inches in 1 foot, so 2 feet would be 24. So now we know there's 24 inches in this 2 feet, and then we just have to add our 3 inches afterwards. So 24 plus 3 is 27 inches. Because we have to kind of part out the, well, there's 24 inches in the 2 feet, and then the 3 extra inches you put on top of the 24, it'd be 27. And the last one is 45 inches equals how many yards and how many inches. That's because it's not going to go on beautifully. 45 inches doesn't necessarily go directly into a set amount of yards. So we have to figure out how many yards would there be in 45 inches. Well, we know that there's 36 inches in 1 yard. So we're going to take this 45 and minus our 36, and we're going to get to 9 inches. So that means there's 1 yard that we can fit in. And this would be our leftover 9 inches. Because 1 yard is 36 plus 9 is 45 inches. And that's kind of how we have to do it. Our number 7 was an estimation. I believe it was, a river is like 16,300 feet or something like that. And we had to figure out about how many miles. That's why we have the squiggly equal sign. So about how many miles would it be? Well, if they're asking for a boat, we almost have to round this 5,280 to the nearest 1,000. So it's either going to go up to 6,000 or down to 5,000. In my mind, it's closer to 5,000, so I'm just going to do that. So now I'm going to kind of go up by 5,000 so I get to a number that is close to this. So 5,000 would be 1 mile, 10,000 would be 2 miles, 15,000 would be 3 miles, 20,000 would be 4 miles. And I think we went a little bit over, so I'm going to go back to 3 miles, which is 15,000, which is pretty close. So number 7, 16,300 would be about 3 miles. And that's really what we got going on today. So I want you to take a little bit of time. Like I said, go on to the next page, the R13-2. Again, you can use all this, which is in your book. How many inches are a foot, how many feet are a yard, and how many yards are, how many inches are a yard, as well as the 5,280 feet equals 1 mile, and go on to the next page. And do as much as you can into that page. I'm not going to give you a set number because this isn't necessarily a must do. It's a may do because we don't want to overwhelm you guys. And then I'll have the answers up there as well. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me, ask me, and I can kind of help you out. Go for it, have fun, see how that works for you.